Leo's Legion bye week number 2 is in the books, and we've got an episode today that is going to be a season in review and some predictions. So let's kick it around with the bros now.
Greetings, Lions fans. We're all together here, the Three Down Bros, and we're just gonna go through, because of the Lions bye week, we're gonna do kind of like a season in review, some like high level thoughts that we all have. We're gonna debate and toss things around a bit. We're gonna do, and then as Greg said, we're gonna do little predictions for the rest of the year. And as a bonus, we're gonna do a little predictions on what's going to happen in the off season. So, we're just going to see, how accurate we are. Roland's going to keep tabs on what we say, and we're going to start. So I'm going to start. My season review is I'm looking at the biggest question that Lions had at the end of last year going into this year. The biggest question to be answered was the quarterback play. We had Nate work for a bit of the season. He got injured. Vernon Adams came in, went 4-2, right, Greg? 4-2, the big win in McMahon. I kept on saying it in the off season.
You did.
And then Nate came back, won the Western Semi, played okay in the Western Final. But they lost. And then he went to the NFL. Vernon was given the starting job. So a lot of uncertainty. Our debut show, we talked about, we were mixed between us three on if VA could do it. And I have to say, not to toot my own horn, I thought he was going to do it, and he's done it. And he's an MLB candidate with, really one bad game.
Yeah.
Really one bad game. He has done it behind some great O-line play and some not so great O-line play, some good running, running back play, and some mediocre running back play. And he's done it with, he's had Rhymes out for basically most of the season. And Lucky is starting to come into play, but really his two main guys are Hatcher and Holland.
Yeah.
So I think he's done very well. And I think hats off to him. And he's a great leader. Now, a couple of episodes ago, he was on I called out the Lions leadership a bit. And not necessarily him per se, but I think they needed more leaders. And just looking at his interviews, the one time we saw him, we chatted with him for a bit. He's a pretty mellow, cool customer. Things are in control. He's a man of faith. And I'm sure he can be rah-rah, but he's not the guy that's gonna come and talk to you and say, hey, you need to pick it up. Maybe he'll do it in he's not that kind of he's a good guy leader that people are gonna rally around. But I'm just wondering if they needed more types of leadership. And because you need all types of, like I said, you need disciplined bullies. He's a quarterback, so he's not necessarily going to be a bully, but you need bullies in your leadership core. I don't know if they have enough of that, but that's just, so for me, the quarterback play paramount in the CFL, and Vernon has done a really good job. Thoughts, guys? Greg, what do you think?
Well, you heard it in our inaugural episode. I wanted to just absolutely bury the moniker Big Play VA. And I think it was in second or third episode, I'm going with Lead the Way VA. And you know what? He is a leader. I mean, we saw it at practice. He's the premier player on the team. He is the quarterback. Dare I say the highest paid player, but the highest profile player. And what's he doing at practice? He's picking up the yard markers. He's picking up the cards. He's picking up all the practice equipment. He's your quarterback. But he is also showing he is one of the guys. And when he was hurt, they had that footage. Water bottle the old lineman, water bottle the guys. He's that kind of leader that if you're down or if the team's down, he's going to come beside you, put his arm around you and say, hey, it's okay. We got this. But sometimes you need that leader that's going to grab you by the scruff and shake the fog out your head and be that bully, be the alpha male, be the guy. You know, I still going to say it, but that first few games, he's doing calisthenics 5 yards away from the huddle. And I'm thinking that guy should be in there taking command of the huddle when it's kind of his team right now. And he doesn't have to necessarily be like in your face drill sergeant kind of guy, but sometimes you need that leader that just like that once he speaks, the room shuts up. You know, you hear it all over the news. The guys, they hang out with each other. They're good buddies. It's great times when they're together. It's camaraderie. But sometimes that good time kind of clouds when that adversity comes. You're still a little bit too much fun loving, and you need that guy to just kind of grab you and go, hey, focus. What do you think, Roland?
Yeah, no, I agree. Total respect for Vern Adams. I remember our first episode, Arthur, you were right. We were talking about the quarterbacks. We were really concerned with Rourke leaving. But you guys made a point, I think it was you, Arthur, who said that we had the deepest depth on quarterback because we have 3 veterans, right? And we could see that. And actually, let me just look at some stats here. Passing yards, Vern Adams is number 3 in the league at this point of the season. Number 1 is Jake Meyer, believe it or not, 3,300 yards. It's unfortunate they can't convert in the red zone, but anyway, that's a different story. Number 2, as we would expect, is Zach Collaros. And number 3 is Vern Adams, 2,957 yards so far. In terms of passing touchdowns, he's number 2. Zach has 27, Vern has 20. So really, really good numbers. So I agree with you guys totally on the leadership off the field. Just that servant leadership. Even when no one's watching, you know, he's demonstrating his leadership. I hear what you're saying, Arthur, that we need someone to fire up the team. It may not necessarily need to be Vern though. It could be someone else. Like I remember our last Grey Cup winning season. You know, we had guys like Andrew Harris and Big Hill, you know, who I think was playing that role, right? So it may not need to be Vern doing this rah-rah kind of get the team going, but yeah, I think you're right. We seem to be lacking that in the team, and I don't know if it's related to the coaching too, because our coach is pretty laid back too, at least. so it kind of just trickles down, I think. So, but yeah, we need to, like, you know, guys like Zach Collaros, the Blue Bombers, right? When they're behind, you suddenly see them get all laser focused, right? They're not gonna give up the game. They may be behind a couple touchdowns, but you know that you see that confidence in their eyes that they're gonna make it back and they're gonna win the game, right? That type of confidence, being able to instill that, I don't think we have yet as a team. We haven't matured to that level. So are we gonna get it this season? I don't know. I want to have it by next season when we're hosting the Grey Cup.
That's right. That's exactly it. Okay, well, Vern Adams is my first topic. My second topic that I'm gonna introduce and the girls are gonna kick around is, in the offseason, I was really concerned about the run defense. And then the first 2, 3, 4 games, it seemed okay. I'm like, oh, okay, it's good. But in the last few, it hasn't been good. And especially if Woody Barron is not in there, oh my goodness. That's a massive drop-off. I'm really concerned about the run defense, boys. Really concerned. You know, for BC to win the Grey Cup, they're going to have to go through Winnipeg and Toronto.
Yeah.
Both those teams they have big backs.
Yes.
They're going to run it down our throats. I'm not sure they can stop a run, especially if it's on the road, especially if it's in Winnipeg, for one. And then the Grey Cup game is going to be in Hamilton. Who knows what kind of inclement weather is going to be upon us.
Cold and wet.
Yeah.
No, late October, early November, right? And our pass offense. So, I mean, I don't know how much they're going to stay on the field. And then our defense is going to be on the field too much. So I'm really concerned. I was talking to you guys separately about, you know, they moved away from Jordan Williams last year because Haladic was kind of outplaying him. And then this is Haladic's first full year as a middle linebacker. And I said, I understand why they didn't go after like a Sankey or a Thurman. Greg, that's what we wanted them to do in the offseason. They wanted to see what Haladic can bring because he's homegrown and they can spend their money elsewhere. And you know, I always think that next year is the year the Lions are going to go all in because they're hosting the Grey Cup next year. So they wanted to see what they had in Haladic, another year of experience, and then see what else they have on the D line. But I'm thinking right now it's not good enough. And whether it's scheme or personnel, but something has to change, and something has to change in a dramatic way. Greg, what do you think?
Well, if I could bring in another sport, we're the 3 down bros, but we're open to a lot of sports. But this run D, or our D as a whole, you've heard me on separate occasions kind of chirp at, and I mean, all due respect to Mr. Ryan Phillips. I have great amount of respect for him as a player, and more so as an up-and-coming defensive coordinator. But the words fast, aggressive, and dictate, I have not seen any of those three in any game this year. I mean, yeah, we've been fast, but then we've overrun the play, or we've made a poor tackle attempt. Have we been aggressive? Yeah, on the odd blitz where the 6th offensive lineman picks us up and moves our fast, smaller D lineman out of the way. Have we dictated? No. And to me, our defense has been a bend, don't break, and that's not because of scheme, or maybe it is, but we get pushed around a lot. And if I could bring, like I said, my analogy or metaphor, whatever you want to call it, of another sport in, we're like one of those hockey teams that have the small, offensive, puck-moving defensemen. Not one of them can clear the net. Not one of them can thump a guy up against the boards. Not one of them can ride a guy off the puck. Haladic, as much as I like him, he's kind of an oversized defensive back. And Rugamba is a defensive back. And Lacombo, again, another oversized defensive back, which a lot of the CFL linebackers are, that kind of tweener size. But you look at Sankey, you look at Thurman, you look at Big Hill, you look at the middle linebacker, you look at Mwamba in Toronto. Those guys have some weight to them, and they've got some aggression to them. Haladic will make a good tackle, but he gets up and he's another quiet leader. Lets his play do the talking. And all due respect to Mr. Haladic. But when you think of a middle linebacker, if you were to draw the picture of the perfect middle linebacker, they will have Mike Singletary's eyes. They will have Solomon's impact. When he hit you, you felt it. Your ribs were back there, your body was up here. They will have all of that, and you've heard me complain about it at the games, and I'm on here too. We have nice guys as linebackers. When they hit you, they just kind of bring you down. They don't put you down. They don't drive you down. They just bring you down. I mean, I've seen Rugamba and Moje hit a guy, but it's not consistent. If James Butler got hit like that every time he touched the ball, that Hamilton game is a totally different outcome. And to watch him run over us, and I mean, hey, when we played Calgary, they didn't run with the great Kadeem Carey, the guy that backed up. That's fine. And we were able to hold Oliveira in check in those games. But as you said, Arthur, consistently our run defense, it is worrisome, especially now going into the colder weather. You don't think Winnipeg says, yeah, well, we're going to run, stack the box. We're just going to run right over you with heavier, bigger, nastier O-line, followed by the heavier, bigger, nastier back. Roland?
Yeah. We started off this season pretty good on both the run and the run defense. But I think like you said, the opponents have figured us out. They figured out how to stop our D-line. Our D-line was fast getting sacks, and then it just dropped off. They figured us out. Matthew Betts, just looking at some stats, he's still number one in terms of sacks at 12. And then our next BC guy is Woody Barron at 5. So 5 sacks. So Woody Barron is at number 8. In terms of forced fumbles, Matthew Betts is tied at first place with 2 forced fumbles. Interceptions, Gary Peters is 5th at 3 interceptions. We started off strong, but they kind of got us figured out. I think it's not scheme. I think it's the size of our D-line. They're fast, but they get pushed around because they're not as big. So I think if we want to stop the run, we unfortunately I like all our D-line, but we need heavier, bigger guys who won't be pushed around, right? In terms of
some bullies, we need some bullies.
Yeah, some bullies. In terms of the linebackers, what you're saying, Greg, I think it's a mental preparation. You go into the game knowing that you're going to make big hits, and then you make big hits. So even if they're a bit smaller, or even if that's not their natural bent, but if they go in the game psyching themselves, I'm going to make a few big hits, then they're going to make big hits. So I think, on the D-line, I think we're a bit light. On the linebackers, I think we can change that this season with the personnel that we have. Just going into the game with that attitude, right? I don't know. You see other teams, before the game, they're hitting each other, they're bashing each other's pads. I don't really see our team doing that, right?
No, they're all just laughing and having a good time. That's.
So that's why I think at least on the linebacker side. So in terms of adjustments, we got to play what we have, right? We got to play the players that we have. Our D line is smaller. Maybe that was a choice that the management or the coaching staff made. But in terms of adjusting for the rest of the season, just adjust on fundamentals, how to shed your blocks, right? So when some guy's starting to block you, before he grabs a hold of you, shed him so that you can make the play. And even if you don't make the stop, you slow the running back down so that the linebackers can then make the stop, right?
Yeah, if you can't make the play, at the very least influence it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's on the defense, on the run defense. On the running side, I said this I think a couple of weeks ago or 2-3 weeks ago, but I think it boils down to our O-line. I would love to have a big back, but we don't have a big back. So if we can get our O-line to be aggressive, so again it goes back to aggression, right? Our O-line be aggressive, open up the holes, let our running back at least get into the second line, and then let him take care of it, right? So open up the holes. Right now, so many running plays, we don't have the holes. You get stuffed right there. If we can open up the holes, then I think that's the first step, and then we can kind of get back to form.
Well, Roland, we'll let you continue on. Like, obviously, so we're transitioning away from me to you in terms of your season in review, and you just mentioned about the O-line. You wanted more aggression, open up more holes. What else have you noticed this year as we transition to what your thoughts are?
In terms of O-line or just anything?
Just anything, but you can start with the O-line because you brought that up at that point.
I mean, we saw some bits and some improvement in the last couple games. We saw some of our O-line actually, making it up, going upfield and making blocks in the secondary. But I think the main adjustment I want to see is just aggression. O-line needs to be aggressive. I love what Vern Adams is doing. Remember that game where the last 3 plays, our right tackle just messed up and lost the game for us, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, Vern went up to him, and he didn't yell at him or anything. He was saying it's okay, right? And I respect that as a leader, but we got to build fire. We got to build fire, right? So yes, you don't want to get upset at him, but you want him to take that and turn it around so that the next game he's on fire. So however we do that, but we need to increase the aggression on the O-line. I mean, team-wide, but specifically on the O-line and the D-line and the linebackers. I think our DBs are for the most part, okay. They're missing tackles. Sometimes they get beat, but it's not 100%, right? Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts right now.
Greg, what do you think? Roland's thoughts about intensity and aggression. O-line, defensive backs.
Well, I'll go with the O-line first. I've been complaining, nagging, whining, itching, and I said itching for the family viewers out there.
You're missing a letter.
Well, the O-line of the Lions have not had nasty since Rob Murphy, Chris Perez, and Vic Stevenson were on that line. And then, dare I say, the O-line in '85 when we won the Cup. We had the Orange Crush D-line and then the nasty O-line. But our O-line is almost just a bunch of nice, big old teddy bears like our D-line, except our D-line's quicker teddy bears, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, after that game we lost where Perkins just became a turnstile, I was in a lot of those forums, talking with a lot of fans. And that one, Let's Talk BC, Let's Talk Lions. It's a great forum. And I said the difference with our O-line is they are missing that X factor. We went into Winnipeg and we beat them. We schooled Stanley Bryant and Hardrick. We schooled them. Betts had his way with both of those guys. Menard had his way with both of those guys. But look what happened the next time we played them. Yeah, they had the extra week to prepare, but they took it personally. They were not going to let that happen again, and they were going to let you know it. And they warmed up on all the teams that they were along the way before they had the rematch with us. Yeah, we went in there again on a short week, back-to-back road games, and we got our butts handed to us. But the wake of destruction that O-line left throughout the league leading up to that game was because they had that fire they could light in themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of guy O'Shea is behind the wall. We don't see that kind of footage like we do on the Lions website. Maybe the Bombers have that on their website, but that would mean I'd have to go to a Bomber site. Ick. But those guys, they do it. And the D-line got schooled that day.
Yeah.
Well, my Lord, they took that personally too.
Yeah.
And that's what the Lions O-line is missing. At least this time, when the quarterback gets sacked, we have an O-line that helps them up. I don't know how many times that drives me nuts, but your quarterback's been hit for a loss, your running back's been hit for a loss, you got 5 or 4 old linemen standing around looking like, what happened? That has to stop in this home stretch. Maybe they were tired, maybe they were getting a little worn out, but the gentle, giant, oafy kind of guys, they got to ditch it. Broxton's got the size. If he actually got mad, if Perkins got mad, if Suk Chung got mad, I have no idea if Andrew Pearson can get mad. He's the guy that does the behind the helmet footage on the website. He's always smiling. And I'm hoping Couture can get mad. I don't know. But intensity, you're playing professional football. And I know I've said this on a bunch of episodes too. Our O-line knows the play and they know the snap count. They should be at least half a second ahead of the D-line coming in. Right? You know what count it's going on. You should be coming out of your stance, popping the guy or engaging before they actually know what hits them. Yeah. Half the time we're all on our heels. The A gap, which was supposed to be where the run goes, is now a no gap. and then a running back hits it and he's hit. But maybe our running backs also need to be smart and bounce it out. I don't know. But that's the O-line. And as far as the defensive backs go, just going on what Roland said, the good Lord gave you 2 arms, guys. Hit, wrap, and stick them. None of this shoulder nudging, this NFL wannabe spearing at the lower leg when the guy can just sidestep or jump over you. That's driving me absolutely crazy. And don't get me started on the insanity that's called special teams. I'm going back to you, Arthur.
Okay, first of all, everyone, Lions O-lineman, it's Greg who's made all those comments. Teddy bear, all that stuff. It's don't look my way.
Roland started it.
Yeah.
They may show you some intensity, Greg.
Well, I hope so. Again,
personally.
well, and if I can just jump in there really quick, I want to give a bunch of props to Kelly Bates, not for a game or game plan, but that practice that we were fortunate enough to go by. After all the practice was over, Kelly took another just short of an hour to sit down with a bunch. You guys remember that? Those
coaches,
amateur coaches that came and asked him some pointers? He pretty much did an in-game demo for those guys and explained, and he taught, and he instructed. And I'm sure that's how he is with his own line.
Yeah.
But your own line aren't a bunch of amateur coaches. If you have to slap him upside the head, get him going, do so. But I don't think Kelly Bates is a fire and brimstone kind of guy either. He seems to be a really nice guy leader. I met him in the grocery store once too. He's just a nice guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to be a nice guy. It's okay to be happy, but in the game, you gotta bump up the intensity like 10x, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
And chairman of the board Arthur tonight, don't get me started on that bull pucky line. Well, the energy just wasn't there from Rick Campbell, because then that's what Roland said. That's the leadership. That's trickling from the top down. Well, the energy wasn't there. You had a home game in front of home fans, and after an embarrassing loss, yeah, we almost came back. I don't care. You lost to a third-string quarterback in Saskatchewan. You should have come back ready to just kick the crap out of Hamilton. What'd you do? You let James Butler run all over you because, well, I sensed the energy wasn't there. Was his dad that kind of coach? Probably, but he also had Cal Murphy and Don Matthews to yell and scream and slap people around. But anyway.
But don't forget the officials who were on his side.
Don't start.
Yeah.
Well, Greg endorses corporal punishment as well. This is a very entertaining episode there, Greg. Very entertaining. Yeah, I mean, obviously intensity on the O-line. I think intensity in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
I think in the beginning of the year, I mean, I would say that there was a lot of intensity. I saw the defense rallying to plays, a lot of tackles for loss.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of lost our way a little. You know, I think when Toronto beat us, when we lost to Toronto, I mean, a 6 interception by VA, and we got roughed up a bit. And I think we were okay for a bit. And then when we just went into Winnipeg, and we got spanked. Mind you, like, hey, Dane Evans went in, Vernon was out, and then Dane got knocked out, so we had our third string. But whatever, just after that loss, we're just muddling along.
Yeah.
Like, our wins haven't been dominating. And very dominant. We win by 9 over Saskatchewan.
And I think that has to do with the maturity level of a championship team, right? Mm-hmm. Like I keep going back to Winnipeg because even though we say they're getting old, they're over the hill, but they have that maturity that they're gonna keep the foot down on the gas, right? Mm-hmm. Like that 51-6 against Saskatchewan last week. I missed the game
because they took the loss the week before personally.
I mean, it's not making a statement, but it is making a statement. And you got to make statements. If you want to be a championship team, you got to show the rest of the league that you mean business, and you gotta believe it yourself, right? So 51-6, there's no denying they're a championship team, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's where we've begged to differ a little bit. As much as I love my two other bros here, the maturity is what it is. I get it, but again, have some. As a lot of football coaches will tell you, games are won and lost in the trenches. Yes or no, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
Right? So have some pride as a man, as a player. Never mind have the maturity or whatever to overcome adversity. The guy punched you in the mouth. Punch him back. And I'm being metaphorical here. I'm not calling anybody out.
Yeah.
Just, you get pushed, push back. That's football.
Yeah.
But in Hamilton, we didn't have we had no pushback.
Yeah.
The Winnipeg game, the second one, yeah, maybe we were gassed, maybe we were tired, blah, blah, blah. Second road game back to back. Thank you very much, schedule makers. But you still know what you do for a living. I think Arthur's right. They were shell shocked after that game. And so it became kitty bar the door, and we're just going to not get beat deep anymore. But then, hey, third string quarterback in Saskatchewan kind of proved us wrong there anyway. So
Yeah.
they started playing the secondary not to lose. You know what I mean? They were just, let's just play to not get beat deep. The dictating was all gone. Like I said, it was never there before. And the Lions haven't made a statement at all. Like, again, when they need to bounce back, they haven't done it.
Yeah. Well, there was one statement game, the first Winnipeg game.
That's a statement game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sure, but then again, that statement got rubbed right out the
Yeah.
next time we went in there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
but I mean, let's wait till they come into BC, right? I mean, yeah, you can make statements all you want on the road and going to Winnipeg. I mean, what do you expect them to win both games in Winnipeg?
Would have been
I mean,
good.
really.
But,
Let's be. I mean, Winnipeg still.
well, yeah, Winnipeg has, and that's when you get to that next phase of our talk. I got something to say about.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah,
and
I
it's,
got something
yeah,
to say, but
yeah. But I think any other season in review thoughts, Gregory, before we move on to our another segment.
Change the kick returner.
Right. No, I don't think. Okay, that's a little whisper just between us three. All right.
Change the kick returner. I've said it too many times. Change something. I don't care. I thought changing to Benny would be good. Coverage, special teams has been awesome, but I'm sorry. That return game, putrid. He might have great average yards. I don't know if we have a stat on it.
We do, actually. So we're number 3 in terms of kick return yards. Terry Williams is number 3.
The average is right there.
Yeah,
He
kickoff.
just hasn't broken one.
Yeah. So both kick returns and kickoff returns were number 3, Terry Williams.
Well,
Stats, man.
You know why? Because we got scored on a lot lately, right? And they kept kicking to him. Let's be honest. Like I said, he was number 1 coming out of Ottawa for a reason. They were giving up a lot of points. Honestly, we watch every other team, and you hear it even on all the the TSN broadcasts, right? Oh, Worthy's back there. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. You fill in the
Yeah,
Mario
yeah.
Alfred's back there, blah, 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 blah. You don't hear anybody saying, oh my God, Terry Williams, the number 1 returner from last year, is back there.
Yeah. No.
Nope. Change something. There. I'm not saying any more for the rest of the year.
Not a Lions on your. I guess the Lions. That's Greg again. Terry Williams. Greg is the one who's.
Yeah, keep
making
pointing
those-
that way because you're pointing at you're pointing at Roland. That's fine.
No, that's right. They're gonna point that way. Yeah, right. As long as they don't come after me, it's all good. It's all good. All right, let's. Any more thoughts there? I mean, we're gonna swing into predictions for the rest of the year.
Oh, are we gonna let's give a kudos to one player?
Oh, all right.
Can we do that? Okay.
Sure.
I have the graphic here. Let me see.
You have the graphic.
Let's bring it up here. So this graphic was played like a couple games ago, but this was not kept track of by the CFL. But Gary Peters' completion percentages allowed, he's the lowest in 2023 so far, 52.8. That's quite an achievement. And then number 2 is Winnipeg, and then number 3 is BC again, Marcus Sales, and then Winnipeg again, number 4. So we are doing some good stuff in our backfield. Sometimes when we watch the game, we don't see it or we don't feel it, but it's pretty good. So kudos to Gary Peters and also to Marcus Sales.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good.
We got to get Gary Peters on here. GP1, man.
Yes.
Show him some love. Show him some 3 down row
And
airtime.
We definitely show him some love with that graphic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag GP1. Hashtag GP1.
All right, so let's swing into our next segment, the predictions for the rest of the year. I think it's 6 more games, and then potential playoffs. I'm going to start it off by saying the Lions will host the Western semifinal, win a squeaker against Saskatchewan, and lose to Winnipeg in the Western final. And it won't be close. It won't be close. That game will not be close. So that's how I see kind of how things shake down. I think they're going to get a little better, but you know, they're one big hit away on VA from being a less than mediocre team. With VA, they're above mediocre, knocking on the door of being elite, but without him, it's going to be tough. So they got to keep VA healthy. If they do, they have a chance in the Western final, but not a great chance, in my opinion, how things are going to shake down. Roland, we'll start with you. What do you think the rest of the season?
It's hard to say. I mean, the fan in me hopes that you're not right. Right? The fan in me wants to see us host the Western final. I mean, we're okay. We are playing Ottawa at home, and then we're on the road with Edmonton. I think we should be able to win those games. Saskatchewan comes here. I think if we get our act together, we should be able to beat Saskatchewan at home, and then the big game after that is Winnipeg at BC.
Yeah.
That's the key game. If we win that game, I think there's a good chance that we will be hosting the Western final.
I'm just thinking we're going to stub our toe in one of those 3 games before Winnipeg. We may lose 1 or 2 of those games leading up to that Winnipeg game, and that Winnipeg game will probably be moot.
You think it'll be moot by then?
I think it'll be moot by then. It's just, they got to show me something. That Montreal, that last win,
Yeah.
Montreal really should have won. Like the way it shook down, like I'm not sure what they were doing with all those 2-point convert tries. They could have just kicked single points and they would have been within 1 score.
Yeah.
And you're on the 20-yard line, and Cody made, I think, made an error, and he could have the Lions could have won. I mean, they could have lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Very easily.
Yeah.
I'm of course glad they won, but it was like, woo.
Yeah.
What did I say? I think I'm like. My text you guys is woo.
Well, like you said, right? They maybe they were getting tired. It's a long stretch. They want to get to the bye. Now we've had the bye. If they got refreshed, re-energized, then Ottawa, Edmonton should be no problem. Saskatchewan is kind of a prelude to Winnipeg. If we can win those 3 games and kind of hit Winnipeg, with full energy. We still, and if we win that game, then we have a good chance of hosting the Western final. That's what I would like to see. The fan in me would like to see that.
But just a quick rebut to you is, if they need to be re-energized after 12 games, I mean, there's 6 to go plus the playoffs. I mean, what are they going to have in the tank? Like, to me, it's concerning that. Like, I was thinking that they're limping toward this bye.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 2/3 of the way through. We got a third left, and then playoffs, and you gotta have to have something extra. You gotta raise your game, raise your intensity, raise your energy.
Yeah.
And are we gonna be in 6 weeks' time? Are we gonna be like, oh, they need another bye? So it's like basically they have to win the West. They have to be hosting the Western final, or they have no chance almost. So I'm concerned that way. Greg, I'll kick it to you.
Well, I'm going to say, how a lot of people say the season in the CFL doesn't start till after Labor Day.
That's right.
Well, it's after Labor Day, and these are 6. And I know you hate it when I say this, Arthur, but these are do or die games. Do or die, because I don't care, 9 teams in a 2-division league, whatever. It's do or die time, because you need to start rolling through these games. And yeah, we've got Ottawa at home after a bye. If we come out flat, I'm personally going to go down to that locker room and have a chat with Mr. Campbell. But you should be ready to just steamroll Ottawa, go into Edmonton, who has brand new life with Trey Ford. Again. And then having Saskatchewan at home. And I got a feeling by that time, Saskatchewan's going to be playing for something other than their jobs. They're going to be playing for their playoff lives.
Yeah.
And Dolagala has confidence because he beat us before.
Yes.
And so I know games are not do or die, but they are. Every game leads to the bigger picture. It's a building block game, we call it. I think we agreed to agree on that term. It's a building block game.
Oh.
Because if we get to that big game with Winnipeg in October, if they're home and cool by then, it don't matter. If we lose another game, then they're not going to care.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with my little time machine like we did on our inaugural episode. But if it's the Lions of old and the karma comes and gets us like it used to, they better be real careful in that Saskatchewan game. Because that's when, if you don't play to your full potential, that's when those key injuries happen. You said we're one big hit away on VA. Who's the team that put him out in the first place?
Yeah.
Who's the team that headbutted Zach Claros? But who's the team that kind of just nudged Zach's helmet that launched him away like a European soccer player? Wrong kind of football. But all I'm saying, but then again, look at how much that fired up his team. They see their quarterback, their meal ticket went down, they got angry the next game, right? But if the Lions don't come with, like Roland says, that fire in their belly, that intensity, that nastiness, that controlled, disciplined bulliness that you talk about, Arthur, they're going to get hurt. But if they come ready to hurt people back, push first versus push back, I don't want to say hurt, does that sound violent? But this is football. If they want to be the hammer, not the nail, then I see this 6 games. Fan in me wants to go 6-0 because then my guess is we should catch Winnipeg and get that Western final.
We will for sure. If we go 6-0, we'll be hosting the final.
But let's be realistic. 5-1, and I don't know where that one's going to come from. I mean, we finished with Calgary here, and you know what? I want to digress just a little bit. We were in. I was talking to some fans in that Let's Talk line room, and I asked this guy to come on. He says, no. But I want to share what he said. Good or bad, if you're not cheering for your team, you're not a fan. His name is Scott Cleland. Great guy. Has a lot to say, but that's the problem. Our 8-4 was inflated. He agreed with us. I mean, who would we beat? Calgary. Pretty much the same team we destroyed in the Western Semi last year.
Edmonton twice.
Right. There's 4 wins right there. And yes, we got Winnipeg in there. Probably caught them napping, let's be honest. But we did. We went in there, we beat them. But these last 6, these aren't inflated now because all of these teams have that thing Roland says is belief, especially Saskatchewan now because they beat us. They beat Winnipeg. They got belief, and they got spanked last time they played Winnipeg. So you don't think they're going to be coming to try to bust up some teams on the way to us? Sure they are. So we have to play with an intensity we have not yet seen this year, a fire and an energy we have not yet seen this year, and bring that X factor every single game. That you take it as a man, personally. You will do beyond your best to be the hammer. But my prediction for the last 6, 5-1. I'd like 6-0, but I think we'll go 5-1. And it'll be...
Who's that one? Is that Winnipeg?
No, I think we can win that game, but I'm a little worried it might be Edmonton.
Yeah.
Because... You know, I know they don't say it in front of the camera, but maybe they believe their press clippings. Like, hey, we beat Edmonton twice.
Yeah.
Shut them out shut them out both times.
Right, but it's not Cornelius anymore.
Yeah, it's a different team now.
It's a mobile quarterback
totally
that also
team.
can throw the ball.
Yeah.
Who has been dying to prove himself.
Yeah.
So what? He's got his X factor.
Yeah.
Right? We need to... GP1, I don't care. Quincy, you heard me today. 1 pick, 1 smack, cheesecake. We're on that for that, man. So let's start in the Ottawa game. Let's start smacking some people around. Do that dictate fast and aggressive defense again. Because that's what's going to win us, hopefully 6, but I'm saying 5.
Wow.
5-1.
But you want me to predict? Yeah.
Roland, did you predict a win-loss for 6 games?
I didn't. It's hard for me to predict because I'm a fan. I would like to see 6-0.
Oh.
But realistically, see, I think we have the potential. We have the potential to actually, go 6-0. If the BC Lions with Lule was able to come back and win every single game, because they had that belief. We showed at the beginning of this season that we had, we have it, but we lost it. So if we can somehow get it back, I think it's very possible to go 6-0 and host the Western Final, and then, prove to Toronto, who's the best, right?
What is it? 14-4.
But that's a fan in me speaking. The realist in me speaking, is kind of leaning towards what you said, Arthur, that we'll end up hosting the semifinals and we'll lose to Winnipeg. But
I didn't predict that.
But
we're gonna get back to you, Greg. We're gonna get back to you. But we'll finish up with Roland here.
Okay.
We want to win-loss for 6 games, and then what happens?
I mean, I've always been on the positive side in my predictions, and none of them have come to pass. But I'll predict 6-0.
Oh my goodness! And a win or a loss in the Western Final.
The Western Final, I think if we do 6-0, we will have that confidence then. Everything would be clicking then.
Oh my goodness. And
we'll be able to advance to the Grey Cup. So we will win. If we get 6-0, we will win the Western Final.
And then the Grey Cup, Roland. How blue is your sky, baby? How blue is that sky?
Is he wearing rose-colored glasses?
And what was in that drink you just had?
That's right. We should all have this drink.
I think I need that drink. I need a double.
I mean, if it clicks, right? Right. So,
True.
So I
At
think
that point, you'd be 7-0, riding this massive hot streak.
Yeah.
Going to Hamilton.
Yeah. And it'll be Toronto for sure.
Montreal has what, a 20% chance to upset.
Cody could catch fire.
Yeah.
Hard to,
Could.
but
Could.
yeah. A lot of things have to fall into place, like we said, right? The biggest thing is our running offense and our run defense needs to be solid. And for us to go 6-0 and host the Western Final, that would have to be in place. There's no way we could win 6-0 if that's not in place.
All right.
So if we do that, then it's against AJ Ouellette and Andrew Harris. That's going to be tough. But when we played them earlier in the season, we could have won that game.
We could have. Definitely could have.
We could have won that game.
If instead of 6 interceptions at 3, I think the Lions would have pulled it up.
But even with the 6 interceptions, if we had a few more minutes, if we were able to turn it around earlier, we would have won. So I think a matchup with Toronto, I would say that we have more than even odds. I think we have it's hard to predict a win given where BC is and where Toronto is right now.
Wow, the sunshine and roses coming from that side of the screen. I don't know, Greg. That is wow. Okay, appreciate that, Roland.
Okay.
The rosy picture with a few disclaimers, Greg.
Yeah.
So Roland's got the roses. I'm going to have the fertilizer to lay down to help those roses grow.
All right.
No, I think that would be. Well, you're 5-1. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I got a poo-poo game in there somewhere, but
you haven't heard my prediction yet.
5-1. I don't think we're getting past the Western semi. There's a nagging piece of. I agree with you, Arthur. We might win the Western semi, but we're not going to get any further.
I thought you said we're not getting past the Western semi.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not going to go any. We're going to win if we win it. That's as far as it goes.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, I do. If we host the Western semi, I see us winning, but that's if we host.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
Because even if we go 5-1, there's this nagging little bit of me that looks at the past season that we've just reviewed up until now, that if any one of those lack of intensity games rears their ugly head, we don't win the Western Semi. And the fan in me would like to see, like Roland says, I'd like to see us go to the Grey Cup this year and win it for one reason only. Because it's here next year. Winning the Grey Cup this year makes it that much better for Mr. Doman and all his efforts for next year. If we don't make it, how much interest is there going to be on the fans to come all season long to cheer this team on because we're hosting the Grey Cup? Again, I'm talking building blocks along the way. And dare I say, I mean, okay, I've predicted, but you know what? I hope I'm wrong, because we need to win the Grey Cup this year for everything that Mr. Doman's done.
Well, true, but let's talk about what will happen versus what you
I say
hope
we
to happen.
we get to the Western Semi, and that's it.
Yeah, but actually, even if we get to the Grey Cup and lose, I think that'll still have the same effect in terms of the fans, being fired up for next year, right? Because we're just one game away, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm with you, Greg, 100%. Yeah, and like for what Omar Doman has done for this team in this league, he deserves it.
Yeah.
But that when after the first kickoff, that matters completely zilch nothing to the game.
Yep,
because there's two. Yeah. Once the game
starts,
starts, you think Winnipeg or Toronto or Calgary, Saskatchewan say, "Oh, Mr. Doman's done such a good job for that team. Oh, we'll just take it easy on the Lion."
No, but the Lions should know he's done everything for this team, so that should ramp them up to take it to the other team that's not going to take it.
Don't you? They should be already at 110% without thinking about the owner. So if they had something extra to give and they're thinking about Omar Doman and I'll add another 10. I think there's something wrong. They should already be coming full throttle.
And then add that 10 to make it 130. That's fine. That's fine. I'm just saying.
I don't think they're holding anything back. I mean, they shouldn't be holding anything back, right? They got their own pride. If they got good leadership, they're not holding anything back just because of the owner. But anyways, my prediction rest of the year, they're gonna go 3-3.
Wow.
Ooh, does that get us to the Western Semi?
Yeah, get you in Western Semi. Probably you're gonna squeak. You're gonna
11-7.
Yeah, you're gonna host it still, right? You're still gonna host it.
What's
Saskatchewan's like how many games behind? 2-3 games behind, right? So depending on if you beat Saskatchewan in that third match, you have the tiebreak. They have the tiebreak against Calgary. They're gonna host a Western Semi. But to me, they've been scuffling along. After the first 5 games, they're essentially like a 500 team. And they haven't looked, apart from like games against Edmonton, and Calgary, they haven't been like extremely dominant. Nope. I mean, we could have Winnipeg early in the year, but we're talking about the last handful of games.
Yeah.
They've had to get by on Montreal. The first Saskatchewan, they had to get by, right? Not totally convincing wins. Like you see how Toronto and Winnipeg, they've both had their close games, close wins, close losses, but they've had some sizable dominant wins, and I haven't noticed that lately.
Yeah.
And I think the league is on to the Lions, whatever they're doing. So maybe the Lions are slow to adjust.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, the fan of me hopes to go 6-0, of course. But as a kind of an analyst and how things are happening or breaking down, and like Saskatchewan, Edmonton, like you said, are on the rise.
Yeah.
And even Ottawa, with a mobile quarterback, they can play spoiler.
Yep.
And what have we said twice this year already, Greg? They've lost to a third-string quarterback twice already.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them has been at home.
Yeah.
And if you have a running quarterback, oh goodness. And you're gonna have, so I don't know. To me, they're gonna have to pick up. I mean, I think they have it within them. I think what Roland said, they have it within them to do it. Question is, are they gonna do it?
Yeah.
And I don't fault their try. I think they want to win. maybe they just don't have enough leadership to like say, hey, that tough leadership, right? And maybe they have their team is too young in those aggressive areas. Like they don't have enough, like the guys in the trenches that are bullies.
Yeah.
That will lead by example with like massive amount of intensity and aggression. We just don't have enough of those guys in the trenches, and also in linebacker, right? So I think that those are the areas where you can impose will, and also your running back. If you have a bigger running back, you can be the hammer, not the nail, right, Greg?
Yep.
So
right now we're not even in the toolbox.
I mean, we just don't have those kind of players. So I mean, this team is built around an explosive offense that's supposed to get up early in the score, that forces you away from a running attack. So you have to pass against the Lions, but that hasn't been. The offense has kind of been not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
The last few games, and then they start slow and they have their spurts, and then they have to pull it out at the end. In the beginning of the year, they were getting big leads and forcing the other team out of their game plan.
Yeah.
We haven't been influencing the other team's game plan much lately. I need to see that change before I go more than 500 for the rest of the year.
I hear you, Arthur, and I actually don't disagree with you. I think you're absolutely right in your analysis. But I think the aggression, you're not born with aggression. I mean, there are some people who are born aggressive, but I think in football, the aggression, you can light that fire yourself, right? So as long as they understand that they need to increase the intensity and light that fire, and come in the game with aggression, I think with the players we have, they can do that. It's just will they, right? And that's the key, right? If they come into the game right out of the gate with that aggression, come out strong, take the lead, then like exactly what you said, right? We're playing our game. We're not playing the opponent's game.
Exactly.
Oh, you're muted. Great.
You're great.
You know the snap count. You know the play. First play. If you got the first play of the game, come out and smash someone in the mouth. Set the tone, right? But when you go deep and it's an incompletion, you're not dictating anything anymore, right?
Well, I mean, when you have to use VA as your third down and one quarterback now.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Well, that might change.
I mean, they have to get that sorted out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you cannot have your meal ticket doing the quarterback sneak.
Yeah. Do you think we should put in our bigger running backs like LaFrance and Mackey on some plays? We haven't really seen Mackey do any runs in the last few games, right?
Yeah, I think you totally need to. I think you need to expand your playbook. I mean, you're gonna have like rain, snow, and terrible weather potentially coming up, and you're not gonna play in the dome. Maybe next year you'll have the Grey Cup game at home if they can make it there. But I mean, you're gonna go through Winnipeg and you're playing Hamilton. So yeah, definitely they need like a power running game.
Yeah.
If I could throw this out there, again, I'm going to cross sports here, but the Lions this year, like you said, with their offense, does that kind of remind you of the Oilers in the 80s? When they first came out, they were the flash and dash offensively gifted team with the explosive offense. But when they ran up against the Islanders that first game, the Islanders could play the flash and dash big play game, but they also could play that muck it, grind it, heavy, physical trade blow game, which the Oilers were no match for. I think if we don't change that running game or that intensity, we're just built to, and I mean, this is on McAvoy and Campbell, right? This is how they constructed the team. We're a little too, I think we're too finesse, and they forgot that the season goes past August, September. It's going to get ugly weather. We don't have that heaviness that's required to play in that game. I mean, maybe they'll put LaFrance in. I mean, he's been chomping at the bit since he's got here. He'll have fresh legs.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, Shivers, you pull him down with one arm. Yeah, he's a quick scat back, but you're not cutting like that on a frozen turf in the prairies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not up to speed in 2 steps out of the backfield on a frozen turf back east or a wet turf. So,
Yeah.
Agree with you 100%, Greg. Agree with you 100%. Roland?
Also, individual players need to. It comes down to every single player, doing what they're supposed to, right? Receivers making and holding their blocks, right? We've seen receivers come in, Kotoy, come in, on the edge of the line and make the block and kind of just not make it completely, right? So we've seen things like that happen. We've seen Mizell, right? When he can just chip someone on his way out, just slow him down, right? You don't have to hold the block, but slow him down. Come out and then you're the guy that the quarterback can throw to if needed, right? It's little things like that we need to tighten up, right? So we talked about a lot of big things, but a lot of things it's just individual players just tightening things up. And sometimes if every player just does that, then that'll change the whole complexion of the team too.
Well, they say in hockey, Greg cites other sports, so here's mine. In the playoffs, the little things matter.
Yeah.
yep.
In hockey, the little things matter in the playoffs games. Like these little rubs, setting a block. The block gets blown up, it's a tackle for loss, but you make that block and you get positive yards.
Yeah.
And it changes the complexion of that series or that drive. I think the Lions just have a bit to learn, or a lot to learn, more than just a little bit.
Yeah.
You get to Winnipeg's level, and I'm not sure how Toronto kind of got there very quickly.
Yeah.
Kudos to them.
Oh, sorry. I was itchy.
Yeah, it's very itchy, very itchy.
Yeah.
But
Carpal
Winnipeg is still the class of the CFL, in my books, and holding calls or non-calls aside, they're still the class.
Yeah,
and
they are.
The Lions still have a few lessons to learn. Hopefully, I've been saying this year. This is a prep year. I think McAvoy and Campbell built this team. They kind of wanted to see how Haladic would handle the middle. As a middle linebacker, they wanted to see, okay, Burnham left. Let's have some good receivers. But they know that for the Grey Cup year next year, they're gonna have to go all in. And I think they're gonna, as we transition to the next segment, the last segment for our podcast tonight, is what is gonna happen in the offseason. Now we're just gonna take some wild-ass guesses on what's gonna happen. But I'll start is because they're going to lose in the Western Final and it won't be pretty. And again, there's also a chance they host the Western Semi and they don't show very well either.
There is that chance.
There's a chance.
Day.
Yeah. Well, I'm just not as confident in the last number of games, what I've seen. So I think that this was a year that they wanted to see how people would play. Of course, in that Grey Cup year, they can pivot, right? They can pivot, and you're going to see a reshuffling of like some of the salaries away from the offense, because that offense, they put a lot of money in that offense, especially the receiving core. Mind you, Rhymes has been out for most of the year.
Yeah.
But now they're going to have to start to pay Hollins. Like, he's top 4 in the league in receiving, or as of before the bye week for the Lions. And they're going to have to reshuffle. They're going to have to keep Hollins. He's very productive. You're going to see a number of changes. They're going to have to change their interior, their defensive line. They're going to change some of their linebackers. They're going to change the interior of their offensive line. And they're going to get new running backs. So there's going to be a number of changes, and I'm gonna drop some bombs.
Okay.
Because that's just what we're gonna have. And I hate to say this because I love Lucky Whitehead. His tweet, I think it was a few games ago, saying it's been real in his Twitter. and everyone's like, "Hey, what's going on? You getting cut? Are you leaving the team?" Like that's kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he tried to talk extension, or maybe they kind of said to him, maybe they're moving away in another direction. But you can also, and that's one thing, right? He's 31, and if you look at, we've been watching the games. He hasn't been getting the ball that much.
Yeah.
And he's with Rhymes out, he's still like the number 4 option, number 3, number 4 option. When Rhymes comes back, I mean, like really, the only thing is he's really good at the marketing, because you can't really. I'm not sure about marketing Rhymes or Hatcher or Hollins, Katoy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can market him, and lucky you can market.
Yeah.
You can market, but then they need others, and maybe they'll flow that money. They need to flow that money into their middle of the field, like into the middle of the offensive line, middle of the defensive line, linebackers. They need some more bullies. They need like a bigger back. They need to flow money away. So my shocks are Lucky's gone and Rhymes is gone. And then they're going to shake things up, because they're going to go in. Their offense lately is not being the massive difference it is. So they need to devote more resources to the harder areas, to trenches, stopping the run. And then they were not going to win with an undersized defensive line. And I agree with you guys, an offensive line that needs to pick it up a few notches in terms of intensity and aggression.
Yeah.
And Couture looked good in the beginning. In the last handful of games, I think there's been a drop-off.
There is, yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're going to look in another direction in the interior of their offensive line. And Mizell, I think they need a bigger back. And they need someone to do a bit more. He's better than Shivers. But then, like what we said, they brought in 2 more American running backs this past week.
Scat backs.
So obviously, maybe the Lions lately are not that impressed. You know, we need better blocking. We need better chipping. You can't just, like with this offense, if you're not running, what are you doing? Right? So those are my prognostications. Roland, I'll throw it to you.
It's tough to swallow what you're saying, but it kind of makes sense. I love Whitehead as well, but his production has gone down. He's hurt, but with the production going down, it's going to be hard to justify keeping him.
He's 31
Rhymes,
years old too.
Yeah, but Rhymes, with him being out, I don't know how many games, he's still tied for number 4 in terms of receiving touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So we have Hollins at number 3, and then Hatcher and Rhymes are tied at number 4 with a bunch of other players. Mm-hmm. So, our problem is not offensive. It's not offensive plays through the air, right? It's offensive plays through the ground. Yeah, I don't know about the movements. I think, I hear what you're saying, and I think it makes sense. Can we develop some of our players, our existing O-line and D-line, to be more aggressive? I mean, our O-line has the weight, right? We have the heft in our O-line, so it's not a lack of heft. Our D-line maybe is on the light side. Our O-line, if they can be developed to have that aggression and that intensity, then we can keep.
I think they're trying to develop it this year. I think this is a year of development. They had 10 defensive linemen. Yeah. Right? They brought in a couple of new offensive linemen, and then they let Figueroa go, right? Yeah. And then they brought in Couture. Yeah. And so this was a kind of a wait and see. I don't think they went all in this year. Yeah. So I think they're seeing what they got. One more year of development, and they got to hit it hard next year if they're hosting the Grey Cup, right? Yeah, and I agree with you on having a bigger back. I want to see us play 2 backs,
You know, you know, we've seen Winnipeg play two backs. Toronto plays two backs, right? You know, our run game is so anemic compared to our passing game. So you know, we're not balanced, right? Our right arm is so much stronger than our left arm. It's not balanced, right? So that's what I'd like to see. And yeah, I think I agree with you. We need to bring a bigger back. You know, maybe keep one of our smaller backs and have two. That way we're a more balanced offense.
But what I did like to see against Montreal, like when Cody threw the first interception by Moje and they marched it downfield, they finished off the drive with, I think, 3-4 plays to Mizell.
Yes.
Runs. He made a good second down run. He had him, you know, get a few yards. It was second and long. And then a kind of like a check down, kind of like a throw out of the backfield.
Exactly.
So that was good to see.
Yeah.
Like they usually have to go downfield to their receivers, right?
Yes.
So it was good that they used Mizell. Maybe, of course, this was the Montreal saying, "Oh, they're not throwing the smoke, so we're gonna kind of just leave an outside linebacker to cover him."
Yeah.
And then maybe the Lions kind of out schemed them a bit, but yeah. That was hopeful. There's got to be a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
But that's at least a step in the right direction. They're up by 2, crucial drive that needed points,
That's
and then
right.
they got the touchdown.
That's right. And so the O-line stepped up there, and that was the last game before the bye, right? So I am a bit hopeful that our O-line can turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right, Greg, what do you think?
A shake up, shake down, shake it all around would be a huge mistake.
Ooh.
Because, I think you got to let some guys go. I get it, right? But you shake it up too much, then you're going to be spending the first half of the game, the first half of the season, all of training camp, getting that chemistry. And if you're going all in for the Grey Cup because it's here, you don't have that kind of time to waste. You don't.
Well, Winnipeg could do it with their secondary. But that's Winnipeg, I guess.
I'm just saying here, the shake like, offensively, I love Lucky. I mean, we got to know Lucky a little bit through some fan experience stuff, but he has a lot more to give. I know he does. Next year, but like those games that we had to use Terry Williams as a receiver, Lordy, he was horrible. I mean, yeah, he had the effort, but again, he's another little guy. I mean, how many times have we seen him on teams get pulled down with one arm? You keep him, put him in as a receiver. I mean, Aiden Eberhardt, he's good, I get it, but we need to. I understand. Take some of that money and go pay for some ugliness. We need some ugliness on this team to win next year. But at the same time, I dare say they can't sacrifice too much chemistry for the ugliness.
Yeah.
If they play some of those bigger backs and the O-line if the players they have right now get ugly, I think we can do some damage.
And the
I don't want to see. I mean, I know there's going to be some shakeups. I don't want to see it, but I think Dane Evans might be gone. I'm just saying, because I mean, how much does he want to languish as a backup? But then again, where is he going to go?
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be gone. I think Rhymes will be gone, and I think they'll let Lucky go. I don't want to see it, but I do agree that they will. But if they want to be smart about it, let 3 others go that are somewhere down the roster, and you keep Lucky because he can play. He can return kicks. He can play two spots and be paid once. That's just my opinion.
But he hasn't returned.
yeah.
He hasn't returned any balls this year, right? I don't think.
Nope, he's been back there a couple times, but they let Williams take it, and I have no idea why.
Well, the other team's kicking to Terry Williams for obvious reasons, right, Greg?
Yeah, he's easy to bring down. He drops the ball. But
I mean, if they're the punter or the kickoff guy, you're gonna kick away from Lucky, right?
Yep. Yeah, because Lucky is an experienced returner, and I don't know why they put Sales back there. I mean, dude runs into coverage, but anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, I they shouldn't go all shake up to go all in, because I think it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I think they need to keep a good core of that offense.
Yeah, well, they're gonna keep Adams, Hatcher, Hollins, most of the old line. They're gonna keep Katoy, right? I mean, that's the core. I mean, yeah, that's the core of your offense.
Yeah, if they got to pay Hollins, I mean, I don't think Hollins is making a whole heck of a lot of money anyway. But again,
all right.
So say he's been good up to this point. If he gets taken out of the equation, right? Like, is Hollins going to change a game for you like Burnham can't?
Well, I mean, you're talking about one of the best ever to wear a Lions uniform. I mean, you can't really. It's not really fair yet. I mean, Hollins has played a year and a half. I mean,
right,
not even a year and a half. Maybe just a year. I mean, and Burnham's like he's really good. So I mean, it's hard to. I mean, obviously you take Burnham right now, but you gotta let Hollins play out a little bit.
Right, but I don't think you need to give Hollins and Hatcher Lawler type and what's
no. I mean.
Gino Lewis money yet, but
no. I'm not saying that. It's just that Hollins is going to need a raise. Betts is going to need a raise.
Well, I think a lot of the defense is going to, if they're gonna gut, I think it's going to be defensively. Mm-hmm. It might be Betts, and I mean we're predicting, right? So I think they'll keep a lot of the O, and try to beef up the D line because you don't need a lot of chemistry on the D line. Like the O-line.
Do you know how much Canadian offensive linemen cost in salary?
A lot less than American offensive linemen, no?
In the CFL game, if you were to, as a free agent, go and get a Canadian offensive lineman, a Canadian center, a well-touted one, you're paying $250, right?
Are you?
Mark Corte and the Eskimos just got extended by 3 years. He's mid 200s.
Over 3 years.
Per year for 3 years.
Wow.
All right, so he's making as much as Rhymes with Rhymes' new blended contract. So, you get rid of Rhymes, you get one offensive lineman coming in. You bring in a quality middle linebacker. Like Judge is making 175 and then always having a great year. So Judge is on the outside. So you get a really good say you bring Sankey in. He's gonna command something. And his salary alone is more than what Lucky's making this year. So I'm just saying if you need to upgrade, you gotta cut. I mean, we need desperately to up the middle of our field.
Both sides of the ball. Yep.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
We need that aggression, and if you're gonna beat us, you're not gonna run it up the gut.
Yeah.
That Hamilton game, remember I was like the soul-sucking loss.
Yeah.
They were running it up the gut,
right.
and that is the most gut-wrenching, demoralizing way to lose, is they just run it up the middle.
Yep. Well, because it double team your big space taker, Banks, and then everybody else will just picked up and moved. I get it. But yeah,
you get beat off the edges. It's easier to take, but you get beat up the middle. I mean, I don't know. That's at most demoralizing.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
I agree with you. With who they'll cut, but I think a total shakeup would be a mistake.
Well, I'm not saying total. I mean, you're talking about 20% of the roster, right? You got to get rid of. You have to move on some of the guys. Yeah, I mean, like VA is still going to be here. The only way VA is not here is if Nate comes back.
Well, we know that's not going to happen. That's
exactly.
a whole different show.
Right? I mean, Hatcher is going to be here. Hollins is going to be here. You're going to have Peters is going to be here. Or Sales and Mojay and Rugumba. Right? You're going to have half the defensive linemen probably going to be here. So there's no shakeup. It's just key pieces that have maybe underperformed or just not being utilized. They have to reutilize them in a different way.
Well, I'm still saying 7 equals 7. Not going to leave it. Rest of the year.
He's a good man.
Okay.
I hope they, you know what? If they throw to him more and they involve him to play more, then there's that there's a chance that they're gonna re-sign him.
Yeah.
But
Well,
with
if Lucky hears it, it's Arthur Lucky, this guy right here.
Yeah.
The middle of the screen.
well, I'm saying I like him, and I think that they're underutilizing him.
They are.
Yeah.
But you got to read the tea leaves, right? If they're not passing to him, and they prefer to pass to other people. Well,
Yeah, you mean force it to other people that most of them sometimes do.
well,
Just-
okay,
just-
true,
yep.
true.
Well,
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not Lucky's fault he's not being thrown the ball to,
Nope.
right? Not necessarily, right? Maybe
Yeah.
I think the last game.
Yeah, he did have
he
one
had a
touchdown
couple-
and two
yeah.
almost two that could have been touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, like Hollins is kind of like their deep threat now. Like he's kind of taken over that role of searching the defense. So you maybe, and I don't know, maybe they're falling out of love a little bit. And I'm not saying that he's a great guy, and for marketing they need him, because I'm saying without him, who are they going to market? They're going to have to bring someone else in to help with the marketing.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it's not someone on the team right now. It's got to be somebody else. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
Yeah, tough choices.
Final thoughts, guys.
Tough
Roland,
choices.
final thoughts.
Tough choices. I wouldn't want to be making those choices. It's pretty tough. We definitely need upgrades. Yeah. But actually, all we need is one big tough guy on each side. One on offense, one on defense. And I think, that could be infectious, right? You have one guy who's tough and making the big hits, and suddenly everyone's making big hits.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
Or a bruising back that knocks the middle linebacker back 4 yards when they make contact.
Yeah. So I hear what Greg's saying. So I'm hoping that we could do it. We could do it with just
Minor tweaks.
Yeah, minor tweaks. But we do need those upgrades. Yeah.
How about upgrading the coaches, Greg?
Whoa, do we have enough time in the show for that? Probably not.
Well, no. I mean, hey, this is your chance. I went a little tough on the players. Let's give some balance, right? It's not all on the players.
Well, I've got to give, like I said, a lot of respect to RP and Jordy Max, right? But they're young still, so I've got to give them a little bit of growth. But Bates has been around a while. Get some ugly, get some nasty, Mr. Bates, somehow. Benny, the coverage has been...
It's improved.
Better. Yeah. I don't want to say marginally better, but no, the coverage has been definitely significantly better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in my gut when we just scored a touchdown and we got a kickoff to the Winnipeg guy, I didn't have that after Benny showed up. But the returns, I don't know. Is it the personnel? Is it I don't know what it is, but...
Well, the returns, we're not getting big returns, but we're getting consistently good returns.
We're not getting flip-the-field returns. I don't care if we break one. We're just not getting a flip-the-field. We're not instilling fear into the other team when they kick to us.
No, we're not instilling. But the stats are not lying. Our average yards
right
returns are good. So maybe that was a conscious decision. Let's get decent field position each time we get the ball. We don't need to go all the way back for a touchdown.
But has our field position been decent? I mean, okay, yeah, we're averaging good returns, but if we're fielding it on our 3, we're only getting it up to the 20, right? If our average return, I mean, it would just be nice to have VA not have a shadow of a goalpost. Start on the 45 like all the other teams do, the 40. That would be nice.
But if we have an elite offense, it's all about resources, right? Everyone's got a salary cap, right? How you want to spend your money. If you have an elite offense, then
we don't.
We don't have an elite offense.
Well, lately,
half.
It's been a bumbling. It's not been elite. It has not been elite.
But we are paying them elite.
Yes.
And that's what was my point earlier, right? So, if you're paying them the lead, then that was what the game plan was. Their game plan, you can tell what their game plan was, is they just want Williams to get positive yards.
Yeah.
Don't fumble, get positive yards, and let our offense get on the field, and our offense will move the ball downfield, right?
But
so
2
that's the
on
game
our
plan.
20? Oof,
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, you're not going to get score a touchdown all the time, but that's their game plan, right? The game plan was to get up early, force the other team to not run the ball down our throats, but to pass into our more veteran secondary. And we would have a fast defensive line that would rush the quarterback and get sacked.
Yeah.
Because they have to
or
drop
at least
back.
hurry him. At least hurry them. Correct.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yep.
They have to drop back and pass because they're going to be second and long because they're down 2 scores and they have to make up yards. They can't dink and dunk or they're going to lose the game anyways.
Yeah.
So that's the game. That's the kind of the Lions game plan. Now, their offense have now not been very efficient with execution. So they've lost that. We're up by 2-3 scores. You're going to have to throw it downfield. And so, but how they've constructed the team this is why they wanted to do it this way. Whether we like it or not, that's kind of what they've done.
Yeah.
And it's hard to change it with a third of the season left. I think the trade deadline's over. I don't even know when the trade deadline is, but they have no money anyways to spend. So they're gonna have to make small adjustments and hope that this strategy, their game plan overall, can win playoff games in October and November on the road, which, well, we all already mentioned earlier. I'm not sure if that's the wisest choice of action. It's not the way I would have built the team. And I don't think that's the way you guys would have built the team either. But
Yeah. It's not balanced, right? Like we said, we're strong in the air, but not strong on the ground. I think given where we're at right now, I think the change that will make the biggest impact is the mental preparation. Got to come in strong, got to come in ready, got to come out of the gate on fire. And you know,
that'll make up for the imbalance.
Yeah.
Yep.
all right, guys, one special segment, rapid fire. Rapid fire, Greg. That means 5 seconds answer. That's it. Just quick answer, and then I'm gonna hit you guys hard.
Okay, you're asking the questions. Here we go.
I'm asking the questions. TJ Lee, back or not?
No.
Roland.
Oh, sorry.
Roland.
I'm a softie. So,
5, 4, 3,
okay,
2,
I say no,
1.
no.
Greg.
No.
No. Matthew, Monsieur Betts. Greg, start with you first.
I'd like to see him back, but he's going to be too expensive.
Okay, so no.
No.
Roland.
I say yes.
All right, I say yes on Betts, no on TJ Lee. Nate Rourke coming back to BC. Or even the CFL. Greg.
Sorry, I didn't. You cut out. What was that one?
Nate Rourke back to BC or even the CFL at all.
No.
Roland.
CFL, yes. BC, if we still have Vern, I would say no.
I'm thinking yes and yes.
Yeah, maybe in 8 years.
We'll see how he likes holding that clipboard because
Yeah.
NFL very political.
I know, but I'm going for loyalty. You know,
Yeah.
Vern was dealt a bad hand, and he made the best out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Vernon Adams fan, as you guys all know, but McAvoy has been on record. I don't know. He was on one of the talk shows. Says, "What happens if Nate Rourke wants to come back? We will find a spot for him. We will make it work, and he will welcome him back."
Well, he's a free agent as of the end of this year, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean,
But if he is available to come back, you can move VA for great assets,
yeah,
and you have Rourke.
yeah,
You'd have to you have to rebalance the team a bit more, but I'd take Rourke back, even though I love VA.
I know, because if we don't take him, someone else is going to take him, and then we're in
Exactly.
trouble.
And we're gonna look awful.
Yeah,
But what
It'd be-
if
yeah.
Rourke says, "I'm only coming back if you keep and he names off every one of the receivers that are here right now.
No, I don't think he will. I think he has enough. I think he has enough moxie that is enough of the receivers there. He can throw to anyone. Right?
Yeah. Hey, but he lost to Winnipeg last year, so he's not the be all and end all.
Rick Campbell back or not, Greg?
Yeah.
That's the easy one, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Roland?
Yes, for me too.
Yeah, he's back. MOP. Who is it? Greg.
Our nominee from this team?
No,
just
the league.
The league.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Zach.
Yeah. Zach.
Roland, Zach.
Unless Toronto wins, then. But yeah, I'd say Zach. I think he deserves it more than Chad Kelly.
And Zach. Grey Cup champion, Greg.
BC.
That's what I would like to say too. But
oh, you're endearing you're playing to the players after calling them teddy bears, and
No,
they should get slapped.
You never know. You never know. I'm going. I got to go out on the limb for something.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good. Okay, all good.
I didn't
all
have
good.
time to think about it, so I'm going. That was my
Go
heart.
with your heart. You go with your heart.
That was my heart.
I mean, my heart says BC, but my head is saying Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm thinking Toronto. I'm thinking Toronto.
Two in a row.
I mean, I think Winnipeg. We'll see. I mean, they look. I think odds on they're going to win, but I have a feeling Toronto's going to pull it out.
Yeah,
it's tough. against Winnipeg or BC or whoever else is in the West. I think Toronto's going to pull it off.
Yeah, they are pretty. They're dominant. They're quite dominant this year.
My wrist is just sore.
You guys have any rapid fire, or are we going to wrap it up? There must be some more questions. Rapid fire.
No, I think your rapid fire pretty much covered it.
Yeah, those are good. It's tough answering those questions.
I do have one question. What has? I mean, I'm looking at the last 6 games. We only have back-to-back at home. Have we had more than 2 games at home at all this year? We haven't, have we? It's been home away. We've got back-to-back home. No, actually, we don't. Yeah, so sorry, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg. That's our back-to-back home. That's our homestand for the whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the schedule maker has not been kind to the Lions this year.
What's Winnipeg got coming home? Do we know?
I looked at their schedule. Nothing too alarming. But I mean, obviously they have a game. I mean, Winnipeg has Toronto visiting. I mean, they have Toronto at home. So Winnipeg has had a darling of a schedule, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have the advantage in the regular season in terms of how, the stats and everything. But when it's winner take all one game, we'll see what happens. Yeah. I mean, they had BC come in there twice. Toronto's come in there.
Short weeks.
One on a short week. I think Winnipeg. I mean, hey, they've taken full advantage. They're gonna, and then let's see what happens when Toronto goes, and that'd be an awesome game to check out.
Yeah. So Toronto's playing Winnipeg just once as well.
Yeah,
huh?
just once. And I mean, you could say BC dodges a bullet because they only played Toronto once, but we want to see Toronto come into BC and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Like it's a measuring stick for us, but now we just don't know. So that's too bad.
Yeah. But I still say we could have won that game.
Yeah.
So it was a tough loss because we could have won.
6 interceptions, man.
Yeah. But in spite of that, the score was still, within striking range.
Yeah, Winnipeg does not. I don't think they've had a short. I just looked at their schedule. They haven't had a short week all year.
I think I was reading. I think last year they had a short week and they came into BC and they won. Apparently.
Yeah.
They had a short week. They came into BC. I think it was and then they beat us at home.
Yeah. I remember.
And that was the game where it was, BC's favored. You know that game we went to?
That's right.
And Zach
where we gave up the opening kickoff for a touchdown?
And Zach was just
Yeah.
on fire. Like, he wanted, like, he raised
Yeah.
his level, and he had that swagger, and he was like dancing and buying time and throwing darts into the end zone. That was just all this talk about Rourke.
Yeah, that's right. But again, that's a championship team making a statement, right?
And the Lions have to learn that.
Yeah.
They don't have that yet, and I don't even know how close they are to that.
Yeah.
But they have to. I mean, hey, at that point they won 2 Grey Cups back to back.
Yeah.
And they have that swagger, and then BC's got to build that up. And I don't know how Toronto's built that up so quickly.
Yeah.
They have Chad Kelly as a quarterback. He's got his Uncle Jim's swagger.
Oh.
He does. And he's backed it up. So, yeah, Winnipeg has had 2 home games in a row and 2 away games in a row. And the rest of their season has been home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away. And they got a pretty easy schedule going into this home stretch. We need to go 5-1, although I'm closer to what Arthur's saying. But no, I'm predicting 5-1. Gotta go 5-1.
Well, I hope you're both right, and I'm woefully wrong.
Yeah, I'm hoping to.
I'll still be cheering on the Lions and hoping that they'll win every game.
Yeah.
Yep. But hey, that's why we're here. We're analysis, we're opinion, we're feedback. So, but we're still fans. To the bottom line, we're still fans. We love our Leos.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments if you disagree. Hopefully you're disagreeing with me big time and you're saying, Art, you're out to lunch. They're gonna go 6-0. And we want the fanboys to light up the chat in the comments. So let us know. Yes. Or if you agree with me, if you have your sky's not very blue like Roland's. Unlike Roland's, then you have more of a cloudy sky like what's gonna be in Vancouver very soon. Let us know that you agree with me.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this. Would love to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts. And we'll see you at the Ottawa game.
Predictions for the Ottawa game, guys. There's a rapid fire.
3-point win.
Just 3 points.
At least I didn't see a loss.
I'm saying 14. I think 14.
8. 8-point win.
All right.
At least we're wins across the board. We're rested, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
Exactly. We lose this game.
That's it. Yeah. If we lose to Ottawa, then I think we may not even make it to the semifinals.
Wow. Okay, this show's going off the rails.
Oh man. I think Roland needs a refill of whatever he was drinking earlier.
That's true. It's all gone.
His rosy colored glasses just got dark.
Oh man. Oh. All right, guys.
All right. Okay.
Bring it home. Let's bring it home on Saturday, Leos. Fill the seats, fans. Fill the seats, Leo Legion.
And then we'll be back next week with the post-game analysis of that Ottawa game.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you guys.
See you next time.